Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. Hi, Misha. Hi, Alice. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
It would be great to have all of you on video if possible. We are going to have a lovely session today. Great. So nice to have you all with our lovely guest, Charu. So, those of you who are joining from outside, I just want to give you a brief about this session. So this session is part of our ongoing 30 days workshop, Sirta, in which we are doing some activities to maintain consistency, having that belief again, getting the motivation for healing and meditation. So as part of that series, we have our special guest Charu with us today, and we have extended this invite to all of the community because we don't want you to miss any of the interaction with such great speaker and great testimonial Charu. So, welcome everybody. And Charu is already there. Uh, Before we start, I just want to make sure that everybody has watched Charu's testimonial, because that's a big, strong evidence in this work and how everything's work. So, great. Welcome, Charu.
Thank you, Ikshit.
Thank you for accepting our invite to join us and have an interaction with us. Many of people here are very excited to have you, and we were waiting for you for your session with us. Thank you for coming here. And we already know much about you. We have seen your both the testimonials. All of us have discussed about it, and we were thinking like, how would this session would be? So great. To start, just can you just share your journey, your story, what it's all about, and if in any case who has not watched your testimonial, for them.
Okay, I'll try to be short. So I'm Charu. I got into Dr. Joe Dispenza's work in 2020. I was navigating a divorce from my ex-husband at the time, and I had been married for 5 years, but we'd been together for 10 years. And so it was a really, really painful breakup. And this was also when COVID was just beginning. And sorry, needless to say, it was a really isolating time. And then I broke up with the only person that felt like home, and a marriage that I thought was going to last forever. And that was a really, really dark time. That's when I was already in therapy. I was doing many other things, but it seemed like nothing was really working. And it wasn't just a breakup. To me, it felt like I didn't know who I was without the marriage, um, because of maybe the upbringing, maybe the culture, maybe what I had put my own thoughts about it, that this was going to last forever and this is my person, that I think I had completely lost control of myself. And I didn't really know how I was going to survive it. So that's the state of mind. And that really brought me down. And as COVID intensified, the isolation became really, really high because nobody in my family in India could come to me. I was in New York, and my husband, my then husband, and I separated. And that was really hard, to separate spaces, decouple the home, and to go on your own path and to be by yourself. And that was the state that really made me suicidal. And I was really, really close one day to ending my life, and had a weird moment that I didn't understand then. And my older sister was into Joe Dispenza's work and said, "Why don't you just try this?" And I heard one of his YouTube interviews. And in that interview, he was saying, if you do this work continuously and honestly for 60 days, your life will change and you will wake up happy to be alive. And I, of course, hated him for saying that. I was so mad at him. But, something about it, something about his own journey made me feel like this is really authentic. And I'm very careful about which teachers I follow, but he felt really authentic to me. And so that's when I began. And on December 31st, 2020, I made a promise to myself. I would um, meditate every day for the next 1 year. And I did. And in 60 days, my life was very different in that I was feeling very different. Everything around me still looked the same. I was still broken up. My bad days were really bad, and but they were fewer. And there was something had shifted, and I could tell, and people around me could tell. And that's how I continued. And cut a very long story short, from that December 31st, 2020 to when I actually began dating at the end of 2021 and actually meeting my husband, who was on this call, as proof that it really did happen. Um, it was a journey of complete surrender of who I knew myself to be. I became a very new person, went through his work, did everything that he said, and just applied. And I didn't miss more than 2 days of meditation in that year. And here I am, not just a loving, beautiful, conscious relationship, but an entirely new life in many ways.
Wow, you have created something really, really wonderful, and what a great evidence of consistency and surrender. Thank you, Charu, for sharing that story. I know many of us might be having questions. So we'll go like this. First, I'll have some ask some pre-submitted questions to me, and then we'll open to the forum to ask any question if you have.
Beautiful.
Great. So, Charu, in your testimony, you have shared that you hit rock bottom and you were feeling completely lost. So, what was the moment that shifted you from despair to deciding to truly commit to this work? What was that moment for you?
So, in that moment, I could not have given you this answer. I can give you this answer today because now I have 5 years of looking back. And I think life always seems very clear when you look back, like, oh, that was that. So in 2020, I had a very suicidal moment. And in that moment, I actually had a mystical experience that I did not understand at all. I had no language. And I was about to end my life. And there was this voice, and it just stopped me and had all my attention. It was really small, it was a very low whisper. It was not a loud voice, but it just said, "This is not the end." And I just listened. And in that moment, I was in so much despair that I said, "Then show me the way." And the very next day, my sister got me to Joe Dispenza. And then just the way things happened, I was like, I can kill myself at any time. Life sucks. I have tried everything else. Something is telling me that this may be the way. I'm going to try it. And very honestly, I just was like, what can I lose? I've lost everything. There's nothing left to lose. So I'll go all in and I'll give it a very sincere, honest attempt. And also, I was just mad at Joe Dispenza, honestly, because I was waking up very, very unhappy. I was crying myself to bed and crying myself awake. And every time I would wake up and see that my ex was not there and it was an empty home and I was in this strange Brooklyn apartment, I was like, this sucks. And so I think some part of me just wanted to prove Joe Dispenza wrong. That's just who I am. That's really what started. It was like, okay, I'm going to show you, like, life sucks.
Right, right. And I remember, I know many of us feel apprehensive by taking any decision first. Like, should we start this work? It doesn't sound so logical, and we put our reasoning in that. So it's very important to take that decision, first decision. We may not foresee it as of then, but yes, in long run it may have. So it's about taking chance, and it's you that you took that chance and it proved it. So definitely yes, it's worth taking chances and taking that decision to go all in. Wow. Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, you have mentioned about surrender, and you just went all in, believing in this work, believing in everything. So surrender is a turning point in your journey, both in your healing and in calling in love. So what does surrender mean to you now, and how do you practice it daily after having that experience now?
It's a beautiful question. Some things I've understood about surrender, I'll just share those. Surrender is every moment a new understanding. Every moment. When I feel like I finally understood surrender, life gives me something else, and I'm like, "Ugh, now I have to surrender to this." So, surrender to me means a perfect balance of being able to understand your own mind and also understanding that there is a divine field out there that is doing things for everybody's evolution, and you are part of that. So you know things, but you also don't know a lot. And just having that understanding in every decision you make, in everything that happens to you, to me, that is surrender. Because when I am just feeling like, but I know best, I know what I want. And if I'm very attached to that, then I can't see that, yeah, I want this, but the greater field, there is a divine that is planning things for everybody. And I'm a part of that too. When I forget that, I'm very attached. I'm like a dog who just wants to chase a bone. And so surrender to me was really understanding that there is something beyond us. And that was my meditative journey too, right? Why do we meditate? To me, there is a human in you, which is this, but there is a divine in you. And once you experience that in meditation, you can never forget it. And that experience, that's what you do in meditation, right? You go into meditation because you're going to have a meeting with the divine in you. And when the human and the divine in you meet, the you do it every morning and night. You do it when you don't feel like it. You do it when you feel like it. Surrender becomes your language. It becomes easier and easier. At least that's what has happened to me. In the beginning, I just thought surrender meant like, oh, let go of all your dreams and all your desires and forgive people. It doesn't. It doesn't. It is just an after effect of doing your meditation and understanding that I'm human and I'm divine, and there is my wishes and there is the wishes of the entire universe, and they're all together. So, you know, I know 10%. I'll work on the 10% and I'll trust that the 90% is also working for me. To me, that's surrender. And even now, as I speak to you, we are making a giant leap into the unknown. I mean, it just never stops, right? We're moving from India to overseas, and it is so full of um, unknowns. And we're just being like, the 10% we know is that we're moving and it's scary. And there is a 90% and we don't know it. And it's okay because we trust God.
Right, beautiful. In your answer, you said that it was in the meditation that you understood and realized that there's a divine within us, and that helped you to surrender. So, was that a particular moment, or can you feel that daily now in your meditation, that divine part of you as well that helps you surrender more?
Yeah, beautiful question. For me, uh, it was a series of moments. So there have been so many. What I will say is this: mystical moments are happening with you and me right now, right this minute, whether you meditate or not. It's happening right now. What is the difference between a meditator and someone who doesn't? You don't have the eyes, ears, language to understand that the mystical moment is happening right now to you. Why I say this? is when I was suicidal and I had this mystical moment where I heard this voice. And I can tell you what that moment was. I share it in my testimonial. That was me. It was me from the future going back and telling Charu, this is not the end. You have a path forward. Go, right? When you have a moment like that, you realize, and I was not meditating at the time. So how did this happen? Because it's happening all the time. I just didn't have the understanding to even say, like, oh, that was a mystical moment. And so there were a lot of little things that happened. And in many of my meditations, as I shared in the testimonial too, like I would have these telepathic communications and I would be like, who am I talking to? It was really weird at some point. Like, are you going crazy? But as you keep surrendering to it and just become curious like a child, and what is it? What was it? I had a really, really powerful experience in my third retreat at Joe Dispenza in a walking meditation, which I haven't really spoken about much. But if you go to Joe Dispenza's retreats, and you don't have to, but when you do feel called to do so, that he makes you do these walking meditations. And Denver is a really cold place, and it was really cold, that really, really cold, and we were all bundled up and doing a walking meditation. And I had a moment, and he had talked about it. He talked about it after the event, the after the meditation was over, and I understood what had happened. But basically, something shifts in you, and it's like something comes into your body, and there is this a ginormous source of energy, and you lose complete control of your body, which is great, and you feel like you're floating. So I was basically standing, like, if this is me, I was standing like this, so not falling and not standing, and there was a volunteer behind me, and I was like that for 45 minutes, completely gone. And I think Dr. Joe had even come, and he said later, like, this is your meeting with the divine, because the body, the mind, everything is gone, and you feel like, the experience of meeting God. Like, there is a field, and this field is everything, every cell in your body knows this field. And so you're like strangely weirded out and very interested, and you're like, what is happening? But you just don't care about the world. And that experience is possible for all of us. It has happened for so many of us. When you have a little bit of this, you start, you just can't go back to being like, I'm just this body, I'm here for I don't know what. And so that was one really powerful experience.
Wow, yeah. I also recollect something like when people ask and say that they're not able to surrender and they're not able to find that moment in the meditation. It's very true, like you said, that we have to keep doing this so that we raise our consciousness to a level, our receivership to a level wherein it will happen automatically for us. That moment will be in the meditation only, but we have to reach that level of consciousness that we feel the divine within us then. Wow, wonderful.
Yeah, and you don't have to do it with, like, I wasn't thinking about any of this. I wasn't thinking anything at all. And that's, I think, the magic trick. Like, let go of all expectation, because the divine will meet you in a way that you understand. Like, if something happens to you, Ikshit, it will be customized and personalized to how you understand it. For others, they will be like, oh, okay. But you will totally get it. And it comes to you when it's the complete unknown. So when we think too much about, oh, is it gonna happen like that? Oh, was that's too much thinking. Let go.
Right. So true. Beautiful. Thank you. Another thing, very important thing that's very personal to me as well, that healing is not a linear thing. Healing, for me personally as well in my journey, it has been a very non-linear thing, many ups and downs and everything. So, how do you stay committed through your setbacks? What you told your mind, especially when doubt crept in and your old patterns surfaced. So, what was your approach to that and how you came out of that?
So again, like I have healed so many things through this. I barely ever talk about my body because I feel like my heart healed. So I never really talk about my body. But at the time, I was going through a lot of health issues. I had become allergic to everything in life. I couldn't eat anything. There were five things that I could eat, like rice, this, that, just five things. And life sucked. As an Indian, I love food. I'm like, what is going on? And I couldn't eat. I had a lot of skin trouble. I mean, everything that could go wrong was going wrong. My bones were hurting. And so all of this was happening. And every time I would meditate, really check what my beliefs were, what unconscious thoughts I was thinking, I became so obsessed with myself and understanding myself initially when I read the book Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, which I highly recommend. You become like obsessed with your brain, and then you start noticing all the thoughts that you think. And my thoughts were so polluted. Like I had the worst thoughts about myself, I had the worst thoughts about life. And everything, a smallest thing that would happen to me was like disaster, right? So I was living in that constant fear state. And when you realize this about yourself, there is a new power that rises in you that says, no, I'm not going to do this. And you start choosing different. And why I'm talking about this is because I think for me, all my illnesses were definitely related to my emotional state of working out this breakup, but also working out who I was without the marriage and rebuilding myself. And so every time I would feel doubt or scarcity, it would show up as food allergies. Every time I felt despair and hurt, it would show up as acid reflux. Everything felt very related and very understandable. And then every time I would meditate in those moments, things would calm down a little bit. So I understood there is definitely a correlation. And at some point, I just let go. I was like, you know what? I don't even care about these health issues anymore. I'm going to just focus on my meditation. And I just let go. And it was really difficult because my skin was breaking out in acne. And for me, that was like, how can I have even one acne? It sounds really silly, but that's where I was. And once I let go and just focused on the practice, focused on changing my thoughts, things went away. They just went away. And then I heard Dr. Joe talk about it, and I was like, okay, now I get it. Because he says when you are too obsessed with your healing, when you're too obsessed with, like, have you gone? Have you gone? Is my skin better? You are reinforcing what you want to change. So I was like, okay, so that was a good thing. I let go of all of that. I just focused on showing up for myself morning and evening. And then during the day, I was like, no, we're not going to think these thoughts. And that really changed me. And this all sounds very fantastic right now. It was not. I I was very frustrated. I almost gave up a million times, restarted a million times. And that's the spiral path. I still do it right now. I still have to remind and remember myself that it's a health issue. It's going to go away. But, what is the cause? Let's focus on that. Like it's just a continued spiral. Just accept that it's a spiral. And in spirals, we don't know where we are. We can be here at one point, and then we can be here, and then we can be back here. And that happens too. Like my food allergies completely went away and then came back. And that was very annoying because I was like, wait, why are you back? But they were back so I could go deeper into understanding, okay, so there is some other really limiting belief still hiding in there. Got to do the work. And that shifted my own state of being. I think it took me out of fear and survival to empowerment. Like, I can change this. And I think that is where healing happens. Not what the health issue is causing you, how you're responding to that health issue in your heart. Does that make sense?
Definitely. And I think it's so powerful. I want everybody to soak this in. This is a powerful thought that first, accepting and letting go is a big step in a healing journey. We struggle with our healing because we are not ready to accept and we are not ready to let it go. That's why everybody is just waiting for their healing, waiting for that change, and already feel that lack within. So we are not able to let go of the lack. That's why we are separate from it. So,
Yeah.
first, accepting and letting go is the most powerful thing we can do initially in our healing journey. And then it will automatically happen for us. Wow. Thank you, Charu. Before moving to next question, I can't resist myself to ask Peter something. Peter, I know we are not prepared for this, but if you can unmute yourself and share anything about your experience, your belief in this work, and anything you want to talk about Charu's journey, how it felt for you. Yes, Peter.
Yeah, sure. I'm the evidence piece on this call. Um, I wasn't a meditator when I met Charu at all. I became it later, and also not first into Dr. Joe's work. I started as a Vedic meditator, but I think for me it was always more receiving more signals or things from the universe that I understood, and I think becoming a meditator sort of helped to learn the other language, which helps you to navigate this thing called life and having a better map or a better compass that helps you. And can you repeat your question, Ikshit?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask your experience and your belief with Charu's journey in this work.
Oh, I mean, I think the one of the big differences for me is you mentioned the word belief. Once you become a meditator, the word belief starts to go away and it's replaced with knowing. So there's no more belief in this, right? Belief is always like, where's the evidence? But when you start meditating, I experience the evidence. It's there. So that's the difference between believers and knowers, I think. So I think the difference with Charu is, we all have people that eventually, well, I believe that our what we call spiritual journey, right? There's this, I think, in pop culture, this belief or this saying of like, oh yeah, I started my spiritual journey. And I think I disagree with this. I think you start your spiritual journey the moment you're born. You're just not ready for it to sort of receive or be opened up or cracked open to it. And that often happens through life events, right? Touch wood, it's not too bad. But I think for me the pattern was through people that I met, and then Charu was my intro or door opener into this. And I think Dr. Joe's work, I witnessed it sort of from afar, right? I've not been to a retreat. I do his meditations. But when I encountered this, I was already like, oh, okay, this is it now. So I think now I found my entryway. But I had a powerful co-pilot or guide, and that's my now wife Charu, so who's excellent in explaining all this, as you can see. So, yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Thanks, Peter. Thank you so much. Okay. Uh, Before my questions, I would like to have anybody else if you want to ask question. And then in the end, we would have a small surprise from Charu for all of us. So first, we'll cover all the questions if anybody has any. Please raise your hands and you can just unmute directly and ask.
Ikshit, we do have some questions in the chat. If you would like to just go through them first.
Okay.
So the first question is for Charu. What meditation did you do?
So in Dr. Joe's work, I did all of them. When you're just a beginner, you can only buy a few meditations. And I would say buy all of them. And just, I need variety. So I did one today, whatever I was feeling like. But blessings, if energy centers, is a very, very powerful meditation if you're feeling like you're struggling with your body, because it's the one meditation that really lets you focus on your body. I did that a lot.
So, moving on to the second question, it says, while meditating, it's very difficult to stay focused at all times. It's tiring sometimes and monotonous. How do you navigate through it? Have you had such dull moments during your meditations?
Many, and I continue to, and they will never stop. That means you're doing the right thing, though. You're doing absolutely everything correct. In Dr. Joe's meditations, so I follow two teachers. Dr. Joe is one of them, and then the other one is a Vedic meditation, which is our meditation system, where you do 20 minutes in the morning, 20 in the evening. And if you guys want, I can give you the links for that. That's a very different style of meditation. In Dr. Joe's meditation, if you are getting into the work, all you need to do really is show up and follow the instructions that he is giving. If you can follow the instructions, you are already doing it correctly. The mind will do all that it needs to do because you're training the mind. And since we are not born meditating, we're going to spend some time just unlearning. So for me, it showed up as a lot of fear, a lot of thoughts, a lot of despair, a lot of tears, a lot of like, ugh, when will this end? Is it 1 minute? Is it 20 minutes? This feels like 100 hours, all of that. I've been through all of that. But there will come a point in your meditation when you will suddenly be beyond it and you'll be like, oh, I didn't have any of those thoughts today. It's automatic. Just keep showing up. You're doing everything right. If you're doing all this, if you're facing all this, that means you're like nearing that point. Does that make sense?
Beautiful. That's beautiful. I think this does answer the third question we have. Did you have any negative thoughts or second thoughts during this journey?
Yeah, hundreds of times. But my objective was to defeat Dr. Joe Dispenza. So I just kept going.
Fair enough.
Lots of second thoughts.
So moving on to the next question. Hi, Charu. What time do you usually do your meditations? Also, do you always use the breath before the meditations?
I don't. I am very, so after 5 years, I figured out a system that works for me. But remember that this is somebody who has consistently done it for 5 years, right? So my practice will be different. If you are just starting, show up. Like Ikshit also says, right? Morning and evening, morning and evening, morning and evening. Why? Because you're training the brain. In the first few months, you're just training the brain that this is something I do just like brushing my teeth. And so remember when we had to brush our teeth, we had to do it morning and evening. Our parents would be like, just do it. And be like, really? Am I not just good like that? No, you're not. Morning and evening. So the first few months till you can get into an automatic practice of I have to do this, that's just training the brain. When you're all out of that stage, you can experiment a little bit. Getting too attached after that certain point where now it has become a part of your system to meditate, then becoming too attached to like, oh, I did not do my morning meditation, so things are not going to go okay, and becoming superstitious, that's a trap. So we don't fall into that trap either, because I was in that trap too. And then I would dedicate my whole day to feeling miserable because I didn't do my morning meditation. And then I was like, wait, but I'm divine the whole day and I can have mystical moments right now. So I can also choose my behavior right now, right? So just because I didn't do my morning meditation doesn't give me the license to like do whatever today. Mm-hmm. So it changes according to your practice. But the more regular you are, the easier it is to have that connection. And think about it this way. Think about meditation this way. This is what helped me. The human in you is going to have a meeting with the divine in you. And if you are having that meeting, if you are having that connection, do you want to give it your time? Like we love when someone gives us their time, their listening ear. We love it, right? We love when we get that attention. You're giving that attention to the divine, and the divine is giving that attention to you. So do it when you feel like it, but in the beginning, show up like morning and evening. And the breath. So I may have a controversial, slightly take on the breath. I've done the breath since the beginning. I can do the breath very well, and it has completely evolved from when I started to now. I do it when I feel called to it. And that's because now I trust that inner knowing in myself a lot. I don't take anybody's recommendations as like the law, but that's not how I started. So when I started, I did it according to the prescribed whatever. I experimented, but now I have this like solid inner connection with the divine and my own inner compass that I know when I don't need to do the breath, I actually need to do something else. And so the breath is not super important at the beginning stage. I think what's really important is to be able to get to the void, have that peaceful state in meditation that you get to after all those fear thoughts are gone and everything is gone. Once you started getting there, you can start experimenting with the breath. Don't be too attached that if I don't have results in the breath, that somehow your practice is less or it's not that mystical. None of that. It's not true.
Right. And I would like to add in this answer that you very correctly mentioned that we don't have to get attached to the breath. And I use this similar to meditations as well. I ask people not to get attached to the meditations as well because still it's a tool only. It's a tool to make you reach to a point, to get connected with the void, to feel that void. So don't attach yourself with which meditation we are doing, what that person is doing. I know it's very important to begin the journey, to start and to choose in so many options, but don't get too attached to the meditations. In the end, it's just a tool to make you reach there. So try to be in that state. May it be without meditation as well. And so I would like if people can unmute and ask questions yourself as well, that would be great. Other than reading the questions from chat, if you can't, then we'll do so. But if you can just unmute and ask your questions.
Hey Charu, this is Sashi Priya here.
Hi.
Hey, it was a very interesting session. Thank you so much for all the great inputs, first of all. Thank you. And I have a question. So what I struggle with is bringing in the elevated emotions, what Dr. Joe says. So also he says, as part of every meditation, we should bring in that elevated emotions in the void to surrender ourselves. So when I am in the void, I have felt that I am in the void. I have no sense of time and space. But to suddenly from nowhere, how do I bring that elevated emotions when I'm in the void, right? I need to visualize something. I need to visualize my new future to bring in that elevated emotion. So I really don't get that nuance of how to bring in that.
Yeah, that's a solid question. I'll tell you a trick, and it really works. And that's that right before you're about to enter a meditation, I'll give you a tool today. Do that tool before you do any meditation. And why I'm saying it, you'll see it later why I've said that. But basically, you can think about a moment in your life that you feel really, really grateful for, or just something that, somebody said. And sometimes we can hear our family member's voice in our head when they gave us like a compliment that really reached our heart. You think about that. As soon as you think about it, I swear to you, it's like a magical connection with your heart. If it truly speaks to your heart is already in elevated state. Go into your meditation. That's it. Don't think, don't overanalyze. Don't think about, oh, is this gratitude or this, whatever. It's something loving someone said, it's something beautiful and awe-inspiring. Sometimes we just see this gorgeous sunrise and it's just so beautiful. You're just there. Even that, think about that moment, close your eyes, go into the meditation. That's it. What you're doing is you're trying to analyze and it's taking you out of that state. What you're doing is actually correct and you're just going in.
Mm-hmm.
The heart is already tuned into that state. You just go in. That's it.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
try that.
when you say surrender in that moment, so I just accept whatever is in that moment. So in the void, is my understanding right? I mean, when they say surrender in the void, what does it actually means?
Beautiful. So surrendering to the void actually means that you're deep in meditation. Your eyes are closed, your body's relaxed, but there is still some analysis happening. Is this the void yet? Am I fully in? Am I 90% in? Is this or that or this or that? Surrender means you notice the thought and let it be. Notice the thought and let it be. No, like, I need to change this thought. This needs to go. Just drop it. It's almost like you picked up the thought and dropped it. Picked up the thought, dropped it. That's surrender. You keep doing that, the thoughts don't come at all at some point. And that's when you are completely surrendering the mind. The mind, the analysis is just gone. But you're not even trying. Because if you're trying to surrender the mind, it's still the mind.
Right.
That's the funny part. So
Right.
don't try. Just notice. And you see my hand, right? I picked it, dropped it, picked it, dropped it, picked it, dropped it. Keep doing that. That's
Right.
surrender.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That is really helpful.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Next,
Ikshit, you agree?
definitely yes, Charu. Definitely.
Yeah. I know you have done this.
Okay, who's next? Anybody? Mrunal had the same question about feeling the elevated emotions, and I think you answered it best, and it covered that question. Surya has one question now. There are many Botek meditations. So who doesn't know Botek? It's blessing of the energy centers. So for beginners, which one is better? Charu.
I think the first one is really beautiful because it's really simple and you're just getting the basics of like getting in tune with the energy centers. But honestly, like whatever makes you feel most interested, that's the right one. And it could be a slightly more advanced one. Like, who knows, right? I don't know what an advanced soul you may be. And you will be like, no, that's like too childish for me. I'm going to do this. If it makes you feel a certain way, you will know. And then that's the right meditation. And it can change tomorrow. And don't be too attached to like, oh my God, I'm doing Botek 1. Does that mean I'm still at the beginner stage? No, I still do Botek 1 because again, we just follow the feeling.
Yeah, and I feel too, like sometimes we find and we feel that if that's an initial or old meditation, that must be not good. Like Botek 1 only. I thought it's too much underrated because even after Cancun event, I was doing Botek 1 only for a long time and I feel most resonated with Botek 1. It's such a simple meditation that we can easily tune in. So
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And sometimes I do Botek 4 or Botek 10 then. So it's exactly how do you feel with that meditation? Same like Charu said, but a great question.
Yeah.
Okay, then someone is asking how much importance would you give to consistency? Some days I'm able to show up and do the meditations for 40 minutes at a stretch, and some days there is a miss. How much would being consistent a must have for the practice?
Well, how much do you think is consistency important for an Olympic athlete? pretty consistent. So the difference is just, who do you want to be? If we don't show up, so doing a meditation morning and evening is for no one else, it's for us. We show up for us. I show up for myself. I show up to maintain that divine connection, right? I'm going back because of me, because I want to become a better me. I want to show up as a better me. So if that's the goal, and you really want things to change in your life, you want your health, wealth, your relationships to change, consistency is what sets you up for success. It just does. And it's really hard. And of course, there are days when you miss it, and that's fine, as long as you show up the next day and say, well, I couldn't do that today, but tomorrow morning, nobody can make me miss it. I think it's that. If you think about it as, well, no one is keeping a report card of whether Charu showed up today or not, but Charu is keeping that report card, right? Then it's not an issue. So if you're able to do 40 minutes, that's amazing. Keep going. And some days it may be 10 minutes. That's all fine. But show up for yourself. And Dr. Joe had said this initially, and it really was something that I was doing. So I will just say it. Don't be hard on yourself when you don't show up or you can't show up. Don't put guilt, anger, frustration. You'll go there. I used to go there. I used to be really mad at myself. I felt like I'd committed a crime by not meditating. But that is more of the same. We're not going there. So just be gentle, kind, loving with yourself. Like, yeah, we didn't do this today, but we're going to show up tonight, or we're going to show up tomorrow morning. And that's it. You leave it there. So I don't know if that answers your question. Ikshit, anything you want to add?
No, that's wonderful, Charu. Yeah, it completes all. And everything about consistency you mentioned beautifully. I think it answered it all. TJ raised her hand. TJ, yes, you can go next.
Hi, Charu. It's so amazing to see you in person. I have seen your testimonials even before I think Ikshit shared it. I saw it again and again. And for me, like I haven't been to a retreat. So sitting here in India, Dr. Joe, I've told this to Ikshit and everybody else. Dr. Joe is like a superhero, like a mythical figure who I yet have to see. But I mean, I have been doing my practice for over 2 years now. It was for a health challenge. And there are days where, I mean, I know Dr. Joe says there's nothing like a bad meditation, but of late I've realized that, so in the morning, yesterday I did the morning meditation, and in the afternoon I did the Melan changing boxes one, and at night I did the abundance meditation. And throughout all these meditations, there was just, just chatter, just scenes, and, just things, nothing really important is going on in life. And it's nothing that is pulling me down, but it's just flashes of, oh, this has to be done and that has to be finished. And I'm like, why is the mind so active? And I thought it should get better because I've been at it for 2.5 years, but then there are these very random spurts of very active brain, and I wonder if you could help point out why this happens. Sporadic, but yeah, it does happen.
It's because you're growing, my dear. It's because your mind is now able to process a lot more. You're increasing. Think of your brain as a supercomputer. You're training the supercomputer with meditation, a tool that you've never used before. So initially you did it and it had some effects and it was able to do this much work. Now, after 2 years, your capacity is really this much. So the mind is processing that much stuff. So it doesn't mean that you're actually not doing well. It actually is telling you that the mind is finally getting the memo that I got to process all this stuff and she's not going to be in my way and I'm going to get it out. It's your subconscious, our subconscious that literally runs everything in our body, able to take a lot more information, because earlier it was taking smaller chunks. So this just means that you've grown your capacity. And this is not me saying this. This is even Dr. Joe. He says, when you, even now, he struggles with a lot of meditation. Sometimes he says it's difficult for me to get to the void. Forget about the rest of the meditation. I'm like sitting here for an hour, not even able to get to the void. And I was like, that's confusing. What the hell? And he said it's because you can process a lot more. Now you can take a lot more garbage out. So it just means that you have actually grown your capacity to deal with stuff. And all you need to do is the same thing that you did before. Pick up, let it go, let it do its thing. You keep going. And those meditations are actually, even from my Vedic meditation teacher, I've learned that those are the meditations where the body is unstressing. It's basically taking out everything that is causing hidden stresses and just throwing them out. So be very happy when you have those.
Thank you, thank you. That I understand what you mean by that. And there are also days when I wake up, like, Dr. Joe says, give yourself 2 hours in the morning and get yourself out of your head so then you're sorted for the rest of the day. But for me, there are days when I'm just up and I'm sorted. And I'm like, do I need to meditate? Because, I'm already in the feeling. And is it really needed? But then I'll just grab in those 20 minutes somewhere because I want to put a tick on, yes, I have done it and I haven't missed a day. So, what do you think about that? When I'm already up and I'm already feeling like my life is already in place and I'm already living in my future, do I still, I should ideally still meditate, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is really beautiful. And what I've learned is that when you're in that state where you open your eyes, you're feeling alive, you either do a short meditation, or if you really want to challenge yourself, see if you can maintain that state now till 12 o'clock. Open eyes,
I
consider
can,
it.
I can.
Okay,
I can
great. Then
meditate till
you
the evening, and then I'm like, I just had a wonderful day. But should I do the meditation or not? I'm back to that question.
So you can do a short meditation, a 10-minute one, 15-minute one, but I would say experiment, because the ultimate goal of meditation, and all masters will tell you this, is to be in that meditative state with your eyes wide open. The goal is not to sit somewhere in the cave and be like, I can meditate and levitate. No, that's not the goal. The goal is we can live as that person that was meditating with eyes closed. So, with eyes open, can you open your heart? Can you respond to all the stresses of life? Blah, blah, blah. If you can, you're already doing amazing. Keep doing that more and more and more. And that is in Vedic meditation, they describe there are different levels of consciousness, right? And unity consciousness, God consciousness is the top level. What is that? That is when you have practiced so much being in that state that now there is no difference if your eyes are closed or not. You're in that state, your heart is open. Somebody will come and say, you are ugly, and you'll be like, all is well. No sort of, there is nothing happening here. That's unity consciousness. That's the goal. So you're already on the path. I would say keep going and keep experimenting. Some days do a short meditation and see if that makes your day even better. Some days just be like, I'm going to see what happens. How long can I sustain this? This is an understanding of the Tejal that is like human and divine. It's beautiful. Keep going.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Charu.
To this, I just want to add that how it helps when we are already in that state. But if we do a meditation, it's like when we are already in the happy state, we might just be feeling happy, but there's no upper limit to those elevated emotions. If we still keep on doing that, our happiness would become into blissfulness. And even if we still keep doing that, that blissfulness will become ecstatic. So that's what I have felt and experienced with me as well. If even I'm in that joyful state, doing those meditations in that state just elevates to a next level, and there's no upper limit to that level. So just keep on going, and you will feel that difference of doing the meditations in those celebratory moments as well.
Yeah, I know. I already feel so blissful. I'm like, I am the Baba. Who wants to talk to me? I'll give gyan. I already wake up feeling like that. And then like, why do I need to meditate? But it's like, no, you gotta do this, girl. So I do it then.
Right. And just to talk about TJ, everyone and Charu. So TJ is such a great and powerful person. We had an event in Goa this March, and she showed up at the event despite many health challenges and even the obstacles she faced during and just before the event. We never felt that she is facing their challenges, but after that, she shared her story with Lindsay and all, and it was so powerful and she's so strong. It proves, and it is this work that has helped her a lot. So thank you, TJ, for being an example for us, for all of us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ikshit. Thank you so much.
Okay, next, anybody wants to ask question here, or I should go to the chat again? Yes, Nivedita, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi Charu. I'm very new to this group. I've been practicing Joe Dispenza's meditation since few weeks. Please excuse my voice. I'm down with the flu and cold. So I have already watched your testimony twice before, and it was really amazing. And thank you so much for coming and enlightening us today. So I just want to ask this: what has been happening is, when I go into the meditative process, my subconscious always picks up one of the old events where I have been in a survival state or negative state. And literally throughout the meditation, my subconscious breaks down the whole episode, tries to teach me the entire lessons through that event. And it's like by the end of meditation, I've learned the lesson. But I feel, I'm not exactly entering into that void, but my mind is so actively processing that event. I'm shedding so much of tears, or by the end of it, I have so much of gratitude. But I don't know if I'm exactly in the void and doing all of this, or is it like I'm actively processing this. And I also say that once the meditation is over, throughout the day, when I'm in that state of that conscious awareness, it's processing all the time, like observing every single moment, like what is the lesson you're learning from this. Are you aware in this? Did you react to this, or did you respond to this? So it's like a computer, continuously trying to process things. So even in the meditation, I'm in the same mode, though I feel a lot of gratitude, but I don't know if I'm exactly entering the void or I'm just processing and processing all the time.
Yeah, wonderful. So there are two things that came to me. I think the stuff that's happening to you in your meditation, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I think it's your subconscious basically having the opportunity to clean house. That being said, analysis in meditation, it always means that the mind is involved. So when the mind is involved, we are not completely in the field. And that's okay. Completely okay, because the body is a really intelligent being and knows what needs to be done before you can get there. So you are definitely on a path towards that, merger, if I could say that. What I would do is, since you're feeling good after the meditation, and that was going to be my question. Since you're feeling good after the meditation, I would say just keep going. But before you get into a meditation, just make a commitment to yourself that I let go of the story. Just this one line, I let go of the story. What you're doing is you're priming your brain and saying that I'm okay without the story. I don't need to understand why. I don't need to understand how. I let go and see if over some meditations now you may be just slightly attached, and that last bit I think it will just leave. And then during the day, when you are constantly analyzing your behavior, I think that is, that is the goal and the trick to really creating change. So I would say keep doing that. And you may feel really tired after doing all this.
Yes.
And that's proof that you're actually really conscious. And that should tell you how unconscious we have lived.
Yes.
So you're doing fantastic. Like, this is the work. Becoming so conscious, like Joe says, becoming so conscious that one unconscious thought cannot pass.
Yes.
And that's it. You're doing it. Fabulous.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charu, for answering that wonderfully. Suchita, yeah, you can go next.
Hi, Charu. First of all, thank you so much for your time. And your insights are really valuable. And it's giving me a lot of answers to the questions already. But I have one question. Like when I meditate, the meditation was good, as in I was able to open my heart center and release some of the emotions. It was fine, it was good. But then after the meditation, I start feeling a little depressed, irritation, anger on everybody around me. And there's nothing bad that has happened. No external environment has triggered it. So I know it is something internal, but I'm not able to, figure it out that what is happening. So initially that refractory period was like couple of days, which has now come down to 1 day. So next day morning when I meditate again, I'm into that elevated state of emotions, too high. So this extremes, I'm just not able to understand, what is happening. Or I feel that am I going crazy or am I having some mental disorder? One day I'm at a high, another day I'm in a depression zone. So, so and without any reason, like there is no external event, nothing, but you're so depressed, sad, angry around people around you. And so that I'm not able to understand what's happening.
Beautiful. It's the battle between your old you and the new you. The one that you're bringing out in your meditation, right? That's the woman that's happy without any external cause. Her heart is open, she's generous, she's grateful, blah, blah, blah. This is the new you. This is the actual you, I would say. Joe would say, this is the human and divine you. But when the eyes are open, we are not that trained yet. We've not had that much repetition that we can continue to have that state with eyes wide open. The old you now, because now the mind is involved, the mind only knows how to be happy when something outside happens that makes us happy. So there's this battle happening. And see how beautifully you yourself said, the period has come down from 2 days to 1 day. You're going to bring it down to a matter of minutes and then it will just go. And it may come back because life is a spiral path and you'll be like, I thought I dealt with this, but it's back. And that's the journey. But you're doing nothing wrong. It's just that if you have a dog, when you train dogs, it's like that. You're training the dog to go from behavior A to behavior B. And right now it feels extremes, but you're bringing it down and slowly it will meet and you will be like, I'm happy. I'm happy. There is no more this, there's no more that. It's coming for you. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Because next day I don't need any extra. Same way, next day I don't need any external reason to be happy. I'm very happy. So I can feel that because, and it is everything internal. There is nothing in my external environment that is triggering this extreme. So very well said. Because what I realized being aware is that I was always living in the emotion of survival, anxiety, a lot of thoughts which strike were negative. First thought, any event, anything, any text I open up, any email, first thought used to be, oh, something will happen like this. So now I'm being more aware about it and I'm like, how did I live so many years with this kind of behavior or this kind of mindset? Because it was completely unconscious. Like, for example, if there's an email saying from the school that, we might have to change it, and I'm like, oh, what if they're not able to change it? What will happen? So that was the first thought that used to come every time. Only after working and meditating and being aware throughout the day, I'm able to figure out that how I was living so many years in that survival zone.
You, my friend, are so powerful. Just see how powerful you are. You already brought yourself from to this, and like, fantastic. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Suchita. Thank you, Charu. We move to the next question. I think some of the questions we already covered in our discussion and answer to further questions. So Monis was asking about, like, during meditation, it is all good and optimistic, but when I open my eyes and I see my environment around me, how can I change it? Right. So yeah, this is a challenge we all face. Right. So we already covered it, Monis. So yes, moving on to the next question.
Wait, Ikshit, one more thing I'll say to that. That may help. So whatever area of your life, Monis, that you want to change, right? I'm just going to give an example. This may not be the area you wanted to change, but for me, it was at some point it became to create love, and I wanted to see what I can do there, right? I created a little movie, and you can do this on Instagram Reels or something, not for anyone else. Don't share it publicly, please. For yourself, create images and pieces out of maybe some movie that you watched, which had that feeling that you felt of like, oh, I would love that. Take that, put a few of those clips together, put affirmations on them. I am this, I have this, I am so grateful. My movie said, I have an amazing conscious relationship. My husband cooks really good food for me. This is all true. And he's on the call, so it is all true. And so why would we do this? Because when your eyes are open and life is doing its drama around you, you have this on your phone, you switch off from everything, you watch your movie, you feel those feelings, and you're like tuned in again. And then you go back into life. So different ways of training your brain. It can be a vision board you have, whatever works. Even just one photo that reminds you of that future that you want, that future that you believe in. Tag into that. Keep it on your desk. Keep it in your photo. Keep it as your phone's wallpaper. That really helps me.
Great advice, Charu. Yes, it's very helpful for all of us, and an easy thing to do to change our mind just very quickly in any environment. Thank you. Yeah, Shanvi, you have raised your hand.
Yeah, I think following that question, when we say maintaining elevated emotion throughout the day, right? So when we say throughout the day, how do we like? I just heard from Charu maybe different tools like a vision board or a mind movie. Is that something that we keep in loops and try to maintain the elevated emotions, or do you have any inputs for us how to maintain that throughout the day?
Okay, I'll really simplify this. When we laugh during the day on a really silly joke, elevated emotion. When we are feeling really excited about something that happens in the day, when we look at a flower and we're like, my God, so much beauty, I love this fragrance. All examples of elevated emotions hiding in our day that we just don't give enough attention to. So don't make elevated emotions as something that is like foreign to you. Oh my God, I have to do this. What I will say is try to find these little moments that are already in your day. You're surrounded by them. You just haven't put your attention on them. And when you start putting your attention, like smell that flower for 5 minutes instead of 5 seconds, because it's an elevated emotion. If you are holding somebody's child and that child is just looking into your eyes and you're like, my God, I feel like I have this connection. What is that? Elevated emotion, awe, wonder. These are all hiding. So don't think that you have to create something that is not in your day. It is here. It is right now. Even right now, as you're talking to me, you may be looking at something beautiful and your mind is already in awe, elevated emotion. So if you start finding them in your day, it will become really easy to feel them. That's the trick that I use. Does that make sense, Shani?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much, Charu. Yeah.
Yes, Devi, you can go next.
Hi, Charu. My throat is a little sore, so excuse me. What I'm really struggling with is going into the darkness. So I can feel the darkness in like around me, but then expanding it and really, really going into the darkness is what I really struggle with. And do you have any tips for that?
Yeah, before I answer, tell me what the struggle is. Like, do you feel fear or just
Yes, I feel fear about, if I completely let go, it's like it's not within my control, Is it going to mess with my mind? What's going to happen? Things like that.
okay? Well, that makes a lot of sense because look at all the scary movies that get made, right? They have trained us that darkness is something to be afraid of. So, what I would say is, I can say as many times as possible that it is completely safe, but it doesn't mean anything because it's not coming from your direct experience. So, I will offer a reframe and apply it next time and see if it makes a difference. Since you're a woman, you'll understand this even more. Think of the darkness and the void as the womb of the universe. It is dark, right? We are like its children. It's dark. There's like stuff happening or not. We don't know. A lot of unknowns, but it is safe. And if you can tune into that feeling, because that's in our primal DNA, it's in our DNA. We've all been there. I mean, there is nobody who doesn't have that experience. See if in that moment of fear, you can just tune into that. Like, what if this is the womb of the universe, Mother Divine holding me? I'm there. And see if you can start feeling safe there. You don't have to visualize or do anything. Just think about that thought and just see if you can settle. If you can settle, next time, settle for 5 minutes longer, 2 minutes longer, and keep going there. Eventually, you will taste what it's really like to be there. And I promise you, you will never look back. You will never look at darkness the same way. Ikshit, what do you think?
Exactly. I think it's all part of us, and more we experience it, more we get closer to the reality, the ultimate truth, and it helps remove that illusion from us, that just having an illusion of everything. It helps us remove that. I know it's not easy in the beginning, but gradually it helps us to face and realize that reality. And ultimately, it gives us more strength. So it's about experiencing and becoming more close to the truth. I feel so. Thank you, Devi. Yes, we are short of time, but still, yeah, we'll cover all the questions. Charu, is it okay with you? Great, thank you. Sonal, yes.
First of all, what an energy, Charu. And thank you, Ikshit and Charu, for hosting this. So I have two questions, if you don't mind. One is a bit generic, and one I'll come to like the personal thing I'm experiencing. So for me, it's like, so the generic one, sometimes it's like you do not, so when a particular event happens to you or occurs in your life, you do not understand if it's like a synchronicity or if it's like old pattern repeating, like a test, like, is it a test that, if you have changed or not? So how do you identify if it's like an old pattern that is repeating, or is it sort of a synchronicity?
If it's an old pattern that's making you happy, you mean?
Yeah, so sort of sometimes you do not understand, right? A particular event happens, and when you are into the work, uh, like, I wouldn't call it coincidence, but some synchronicity happens, and you're like, this is like interesting. But sometimes it's difficult to navigate if it's like, an old cycle that is repeating, or is it like, can you title it like, maybe it's sort of like a pattern that is repeating as a test that if you have changed or not, like would you take a particular decision or not? Or is it sort of a synchronicity that's sort of happening?
Mm. The word that comes to me is when it's a pattern, it's familiar. When it's a synchronicity, it's out of the unknown. So that's the tell. Like if I said something to you that you could not have planned for, that I could not have known, and I just said it to you and it's like the thing you wanted to hear, synchronicity. But if I'm your friend and I know you and I know what you're going through, and then I've said something and it's familiar because it's coming from a familiar person, it's a familiar message. So does that make sense? Synchronicity is almost always out of the unknown. And you often have the feeling of like, I could not have made it happen so perfectly if I tried to.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. And then my second question is a bit specific. So I was into this work, and there was a time when I was doing like just the basic Botek for like 3 times maybe a day. And I wasn't expecting anything out of it. I was just doing it because I was looking for peace. And then I'm sort of experimenting in a phase where I just leave the meditation so that I don't get attached and try to see if I can live in that state for like extended periods of time. And in that case, what's happening is, so for instance, I used to also do tuning into new potentials for stuff like that. But what's happening is now I don't crave for the potentials anymore, because whenever I do that, it's like the higher self knows it will happen. So I'm no more into like, I want this or that. I'm not able to cling to sort of particular things. And so, for example, I'll give you an instance that I'm into academia and I work with like mental imagery and spinal cord injury patients and stuff. And it's about visualization and stuff. And all of a sudden I'm going cuckoo, like I want to learn a bit of arts, fashion, and sort of integrate things into this. And it makes me think, is it like a drastic shift because of the meditations, or is it like a saturation that I've reached? Because at this point it's like as a potential I do not want to do anything, but I feel so unlimited in a day that I can do this. So it's very difficult for me to say that is it my mind wandering and I've reached that saturation, or is it like, something good is happening out of this meditations?
Beautiful question. Beautiful. So I'll answer this from my Vedic meditation lineage. And there is a really beautiful concept in the Vedas, which is that desire is actually not the problem. Desire is the universe desiring through you. So whatever desire you feel like, oh, that's so nice, I want that, or I want to do this, that's the universe using you to experience whatever that idea is. So when I listen to you speak, I feel like you're becoming a tool for the universe, for life. And life always wants to evolve from less sophisticated to more sophisticated. So the less sophisticated part may have been at some point the small amount of stuff that you were doing. And now life is like, well, I want Sonal to go from here to now there, because that's the capacity it's seeing through you. So I would say yes and continue to be in this beautiful unlimited state, because you're not doing anything wrong. This is beautiful. This is creation. I mean, This is a beautiful example when Joe says that the razor's edge of intention and surrender. Have an intention. What do you want? But then stand on that edge of like, I want this, field, I want this, and then be like, now it's up to you. You're already doing that. And the field is directing you and placing that desire in your heart of like, do this. I would say yes. That's like magic waiting to happen.
But the issue here is, so for example, if I apply for funding or a proposal somewhere and it gets rejected. So maybe, for instance, if I was doing like that was my potential, I'm just giving an example, random example into my meditation, and that gets rejected. I'm not feeling sad about it. I'm like, okay, next. So it's like, so here's the thing. I'm not understanding if I'm emotional bypassing or I'm saturated, or is it like I'm just like into sort of the state where I'm just working what's in my control or what I am supposed to do. That's it. So, for example, in my hands, it's just to write the proposal and submit. But I know the younger Sonal would cry for a day or be like, how did this happen? I'm going to push myself more. But now what's happening is I'm like, okay, what next? So
I see what you're asking. Well, from the outside looking in, I can't answer it, but I think you can answer it. And how you can tell may be how you really feel about it. Because if you're spiritually bypassing it, then eventually it's going to catch up to you because you're not going to feel good about it. At some point, you will feel frustration. But from outside looking in, it sounds to me like you are constantly pivoting. Like you're saying, okay, let's do this. Oh, this didn't work out. Okay, I'm going to do that. And that to me is somebody who is working as human and divine. Like the human in me is going to prepare this proposal. Then I'm going to take it to the divine in me and say, we want funding for this. And it may just be that, things are in the middle of working, and how you're feeling to me sounds like you're excited. You're not too attached. So you're actually being divine because you're not being like, no, I really want this. That's separation. Because you're saying, I know 10%, and then 90% is going to figure itself out, but I'm going to keep showing up as the 10%. Now, if that 10% to you internally feels like I could do more, do more. Right? But spiritual bypassing, it doesn't sound like to me, but I think if you take an honest look and you keep taking an honest look, it will tell you like, you need to do this here, and then just do that.
All right. That's really, really helpful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Sonal and Charu. So we have just two more questions from Nisupta and one from Aishwarya on the chat. After that, I'll talk about that little surprise that Charu has for us. So these two will be the final questions for us today. Nisupta, yes, you can go ahead.
Hi, Charu. Thank you, first of all, for your time. Got a lot of answers to many questions of mine. Basically, one thing that I face when I sit, whether it is Vedic or whether it is any other meditation, there are times when, I'm not aware of the body, but there are times when, because coming from the background of the yoga teacher background, I have the habit of sitting in Padmasana. Then the knee starts aching, and then you come back, like you become aware of the body, the pain that comes. And then after that, the mind starts wandering. Like, what do you do about that? But by then, like you're at a point where then you want to float more in and in and in. But then your body becomes a hindrance. So is it compulsory that we sit in a lotus pose, or we can sit in any other pose, or how do we combat that part of it?
No, it's not at all compulsory. Sit, don't do the Padmasana anymore. Sit with your legs comfortable. Make yourself comfortable. So you're sitting really comfortably. The more comfortably you're sitting, the less obstacles. Because it sounds like, it's not an obstacle for you to get there. It's just the obstacle is to keep there because the body is like, I'm uncomfortable.
Like there are days when I'm into it, and then I feel, why am I aware of the body? That question keeps coming into my mind. Like there are days when I want to go beyond the body, not even feel that the body is present. But then there are days when such pains start creeping up, and then the mind starts going into that part. There are days when the mind is wandering. There are days when I'm aware of the body very much. Another thing that I also want to ask you is, this has happened thrice with me. I don't know if it is good or bad. I, in fact, had written about it in the main Facebook group also. Thrice I have felt like there is somebody standing. Like when I am engrossed in my meditation, I'm aware of someone standing around me. In a sense, not very positive. But then initially, when I started doing Botak, I used to be, because I come from the background of Upanishads, that is, my chakra healing started from there. And I was introduced to Dr. Joe's work during COVID by my dad, but I didn't take it very seriously. Last year, he got diagnosed with cancer, and he's someone very engrossed in Dr. Joe's work, and he comes from a very spiritual background. So that is when my life took a turn, and I went into these meditations very seriously. So when I'm into my Botek meditations, thrice it has happened that I'm very aware that someone is around me, but I'm not sure. Like I'm even somewhere, my gut feeling keeps telling me that it's not something very positive. But that fear is not there. I feel it for some time, and then I surpass it and go off.
You're already doing what needs to be done. That's exactly what I was going to say, and you're doing it. So it's just, if you think of the larger ecosystem, what I'm learning is there is nothing evil or divine. There is just the divine. It's our mind's filters that filters it out and tells you, hey, this is this, this is that. And you're doing it. I think there is no danger to you at all, because you would not show up in meditation if you felt that. You're already I think what you're doing is absolutely on point. And at some point, you will pass over the edge of that mind's filter. And you will be like, okay. So I would say just be detached, observe. I've been visited by many entities, but I hardly ever talk about it because I know that it's the mind's filter. They can be positive, they can be this. Even if they are who they are, I know I am divine.
Right.
So when you stay in that state of I know who I am and I have my divine connection, nothing can really happen. So just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing the right thing. And don't sit in Padmasana anymore. Sit in a comfortable place and keep going on the journey, because I think you're very close to your just going over the edge, and then you'll have your experience and you'll be like, what was I worried about?
Okay, one last question, if I may ask you. As per the Upanishads, our food plays a very major role in what goes on in our mind. Is like I've been reading Being Supernatural of late. Does Dr. Joe also specify that we have to be very careful of what we eat? This is something I've been searching upon on the net, but I've not found the right answer.
Yes, he does, and he doesn't. So he says two things. He says, you can, Dr. Joe loves his wine, he loves his meat, and he says, often people tell me like meat is low vibration, and he's like, watch me, I'm eating meat and having my glass of wine. So I think everything is a state of consciousness, right? And so whatever your state of consciousness is, and it can be very personal, like between me and Ikshit may want to eat X and I may want to eat Y, and that's fine if that's what our state of consciousness wants. So I would say don't get too hung up on what it is for everyone else. See what works for you.
Okay.
Yeah, see what works for you, because Joe eats meat. I don't.
Okay.
Are we both having the same experience? Yes. So it's very personal, and also something my Vedic meditation teacher says, that you can give the purest, most organic, wonderfully, lovingly cooked, high energy food to a person who is in a terrible state of consciousness. That food is going to turn into poison. And on the other hand, you can give the most terrible American cheese-laden processed burger to somebody who's in high consciousness, and their body will convert that poison into nectar.
Right. Yeah.
The difference? State of consciousness. And this is true for all Indian masters and sages, right? I mean,
Right.
Shiva basically drank poison and was like blue and nothing else. So I think about that. You're that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Regarding food, just want to add one thing. Yesterday only, we had a food session for our workshop. And in that, our main discussion and our trainer also just emphasized on this. It's not what you eat, it's how you eat. Exactly what matters. So definitely, yeah, food has some benefits or it can act as a catalyst, but in a larger picture, it's how you eat and how you consider your food as a live being. So that's very important. Okay, moving on to the final question from Aishwarya. And I kept this question for end because the thing we are going to do after this very much relates to this. So, Charu, question from Aishwarya. What should you actually do or feel when Dr. Joe says open your heart?
Beautiful. Okay. So it took me a while to understand this, but I think now I've really got it. And it's very simple. If you've ever had a moment in your life when you felt really loved by somebody, or you felt like you had a lot of love for somebody, it could be a pet, could be the cutest dog or cat or child or somebody. Remember that feeling that you feel in your chest. It feels like it's going to explode. You feel so much love, right? That is an open heart. It's very simple. Why? Because it feels like an explosion. What does an explosion do? It explodes. An explosion doesn't go inside, right? It goes outside. It radiates. That's an open heart. You feel it when you feel love. You feel it when you feel gratitude. You feel it when you go to a beautiful temple and they have this beautiful service and you're just in awe and amazement. You feel light and you just feel like, I could do anything. That's an open heart. And it took me a while to understand this. So I actually developed a tool that I shared with Ikshit last week. And it's a 2-minute thing that I'll share today. Walk through this with me, and then we can see if you feel like you understand what an open heart is. What do you say, Ikshit? Should we do it?
Definitely. So it's just short, small meditation that is created by Charu. So we'll all do now, very short, and we'll come after this and discuss about that. Yes, Charu, we can go. And you can share, share your audio. Yes, it's possible for you.
Okay, I'm gonna play it. Just let me know.
This incredible
Can you
tool
hear it?
has helped me in the deepest
Yes.
Yes, we can.
And the volume is okay?
It's a little bit low. If you can
times
increase
when
it
I
a
felt
bit.
confused, stressed, at work or in relationships.
A bit more.
It's so simple and
Yeah,
yet
okay.
so profound.
All right. So it's just 2 minutes. You don't need anything. Just switch off your phones and join me. Let's go.
This incredible tool has helped me in the deepest, darkest times, in times when I felt confused, stressed, at work or in relationships. It's so simple and yet so profound. It's all about opening your heart. And when I started my journey of meditation, I didn't really know what an open heart meant. And this tool that I've developed now doesn't just tell you what an open heart is, it actually makes you experience it. So come with me. Pause from everything for a second. Take a deep breath in and out. Now, close your eyes and come with me on the journey. If you can, have your hands free during this time. Take both your hands and put them in the center of your chest. If you can't do that right now, it's okay. You can just let your hands be. Just make sure you're somewhere safe and secure and where no one will bother you for 3 minutes. Now that you have your hands on your chest, eyes closed, body relaxing, mind relaxing, take another deep breath and think about a time or a moment in your life when you felt deeply appreciated. Or think of a moment where you felt deep love for somebody. Or a moment where someone else showed their deep love and acceptance of you. Maybe it's a pet that was looking into your eyes with the most angelic acceptance. Maybe it was a compliment that really moved you to tears because it felt so authentic and beautiful. Maybe it was something a stranger did for you that was just extraordinarily loving and kind, or a compliment your family gave, something your spouse said that moved you, an accomplishment that was cherished by your partner so much that it brought you so much happiness. Well, pick one of these moments. We all have a moment like this in our life. Pick that moment and really be present with it. Go through what that moment was like and really feel like that moment is happening right now. Let your face break into a smile or tears of joy, whatever it may be. If you can get yourself to a place of happy tears, then you've really got your moment. But keep relaxing, keep finding, and if you find the moment, go fully in, fully feel the feelings of it. If you have many moments, go through many moments like that bring you deep joy and appreciation for your own life. This wonderful, warm feeling of aliveness under the palms on your chest, inside your chest, in your heart center, the smile on your face and the tears in your eyes. These are the signs of an open heart. This is you directly experiencing the beauty and magic of our heart center. Now you are fully prepared to give and receive love, to give and receive abundance. An open heart makes you magnetic to everything that's for your greatest evolution. And you have just done it. Stay here as long as you want, but when you open your eyes, try to carry forth this beautiful, warm aliveness of the heart into your day. I promise you, it will carry you through the most stressful moments, work situations, someone has said something mean. You just find yourself a spot where nobody bothers you for 2 seconds and you go and do this practice. This will become more and more a part of you, and it will guide you out of the most stressful situations into a deep oasis of peace inside. This tool has helped me, has shaped me, and I continue to use its profoundly simple method. Thanks to a friend in my meditative journey for teaching me this. And so I bring it to you. I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, send me a message how you used it and if it worked for you.
Take a moment to get out of that
Thank you.
beautiful.
Anybody wants to share or say something?
That was really beautiful, Charu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charu. That was really beautiful. It was short, but in just a short amount of time, it just brought up so many of those heartfelt emotions. Thank you so much. And thank you for taking out the time today. I am in awe of you. I've seen your testimonials over and over again, and I found them when nothing else was working. So I found your testimonials and I watched them again and again, and it has always given me such such affirmations in my own journey. And thank you so much. I feel like a fangirl over here. And I was, when Ikshit told us that, you'll be coming on here, I was just, oh my God, no way. I mean, I dreamt about it, like I would be in the same room as you, but I was like, no, no way. You're just joking. You are not bringing Charu on. And I almost cried when he told us. I was, no, I mean, you are not bringing Charu. So yeah, I mean, deep, deep, deep gratitude for you for taking out the time and coming here and for being you. I mean, you bring so much of light and thank you so much.
My God, sister, you are me. So whatever I can do, you can do. Thank you for that love, and thank you for letting me know all that love. It's precious to me.
Thank you.
Sanjana?
Thank you so much, Charu, for taking out time and being present with us here today. I had created a reality where I secured my first dream job despite not having any previous work experience in a foreign country all by myself. And I had shared that in testimony with Ikshit, actually. But then, since that experience, I was just had so many questions around these practices, especially about humanizing this practice, where I was constantly second guessing if I'm doing this right, if I've done this already, why can't I achieve the next one very quickly? Why is this so slow? Why is this not progressing fast? And then after talking to Ikshit and after knowing your journey, I really understood that just because we have achieved or created a reality in one area of life doesn't mean we won't face the challenges in creating the desired reality in other areas of life. So I really appreciate how you have humanized this concept, where you made space for expressing the human self and creating space for the divine self, especially when you explained about the concept of surrender. Thank you so much.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that. Makes my heart happy.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Charu, there has been some beautiful messages in the chat as well. I'll share that with you post this meeting also. And to everybody, so Charu has a wonderful podcast named Your Colorful Path. And a good news, me and Charu recently recorded one podcast and it will be out soon. Charu would be releasing that soon.
Next week, Ikshit.
It's coming out next week.
I actually was going to do it in July, but it's such a good episode that I was like, I have to bring it out. So I'm trying to get it out on this Thursday. And it's such a beautiful conversation. I love Ikshit. He's like my little brother. And I'm just so proud of everything you accomplished, Ikshit.
Thank you, Charu. Same here. Thank you so much. And yeah, it has been a great conversation today. we can't thank you enough, Charu, for sharing all your insights, your wisdom, your experiences. Personally, it has helped me a lot, and I know to everybody present here, it has been a great blessing. So, thank you for everything. And I'll share all your links with my group, the podcast link, and everything. So, do follow Charu's podcast. It's an amazing insights to and deep dive into everything we do and in our journey. So, and thank you so much, everyone, for being here. It was it almost turned out to be a 2 hour session, but it never felt like that. And yeah,
Can I
thank
just say something?
yeah, Charu, all about you, all up to you. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I just feel like, again, like we have never met each other, all of us, and it feels like our soul family. Like I feel like my soul knows you, Ikshit, and then the larger community, and just bravo on all of you coming together, just learning from each other. I am so honored that anything that I learned can help you now, and I'm just so proud to see that so many young people, so many people from all these different areas and different ages, different everything are just coming to work on themselves. I think this is beautiful. And what I will say to anybody who is even microscopically doubting whether meditation is for them, it is. It feels like you're doing the wrong thing in the beginning. Do not give up. Ask questions like you did today. I'm absolutely happy to answer any questions. Reach out to me on Instagram. I'm very very much there, and just keep going. Don't give up. You guys are doing amazing. And I can't wait to hear the testimonials from you guys. And you don't have to go to retreats. You don't have to go anywhere. You can just win right here. And I'm rooting for each and every one of you. And thank you for giving me so much love. And my heart is full.
Charu, Ashish is asking, is this meditation we did now available on YouTube?
It's not. I just created it, but I will send you all a link, and you can do it whenever you want.
Great. Great. Thank you so much, Charu, and thank you everyone for all your energy and time. See you next time, and we love to have you again, Charu, in our community. So I know many questions are still left unanswered. I also had some questions, but yeah, we'll have you again, definitely.
Even I joined the meditation. It was really nice. It made me feel very happy.
Oh, that's the best thing. Oh my God, you did?
Yeah.
Are you Tejal's
Son, my son.
Oh my God, genius. Wow. Beautiful. Thank you. Do you meditate a lot?
Not really. I don't meditate too much.
But he allows me to meditate. That is good.
Very good. Well, I'll send you this 2-minute one. You can do the 2-minute one.
Okay, yeah.
Very good. Thank you for letting me know that. The cutest boy. All right.
Great. Thank you, everyone. See you next time. Bye-bye. Bye.